I'm Luke Summerhays, and I love Stunfisk. I talked a little while back about the quest to create the smallest Pokémon the series had ever seen, and how that resulted in Joltik. Another Generation 5 Pokémon created to set a record was the thinnest, flattest monster. The result was Stunfisk. To create a flat Pokémon, the designers took inspiration from flatfish. These unusual creatures, the most famous of which is the flounder, are born looking more like regular fish, but as they grow, in a Pokémon evolution-like metamorphosis, one eye migrates around to the other side of the head, and they flatten out, hiding in the sands of riverbeds. Stunfisk is the trap Pokémon, a ground and electric type, flat brown fish, with 2 eyes and a round little mouth. A footprint-like pattern above the face tempts prey to keep walking. Pokémon White tells us, "It conceals itself in the mud of the seashore. Then it waits. When prey touch it, it delivers a jolt of electricity." And Pokémon Black says, "Its skin is very hard, so it is unhurt even if stepped on by sumo wrestlers. It smiles when transmitting electricity." This electricity generation and trapping behaviour is actually unlike a flatfish and more like the stargazer. Stargazers are another fish which live among the sands at the bottom of the water. When they bury themselves, only a grim mouth and 2 eyes are visible, looking very much like Stunfisk's face. They are ambush hunters capable of delivering electric shocks. Unlike Stunfisk though, stargazers are not actually flat. They are full-bodied fish whose faces just happen to be positioned at the top of their heads. So when buried, they can look straight up and blend in with the sands. Some stargazers even have growths on their lips, which act like fishing lures to draw prey in. This takes us back to another recent Pokémon design conversation. With Fungus and Amoonguss, we discussed how the game designers needed a new mimic that could blend with Pokeball sprites in the overworld. In the first HD games, Pokémon Sword and Shield, they needed to make the trap convincing even in the more detailed, dynamic visual style. And so we get Galarian Stunfisk. Stunfisk in the Galar region are ground and steel type Pokémon, with spiky edges that can close like a bear trap. The top and bottom lips are red and white respectively, so when lying flat on the ground, they resemble a Pokeball which one might try to pick up. Pokémon Shield tells us, "Its conspicuous lips lure prey in, as it lies in wait in the mud. When prey gets close, Stunfisk clamps its jagged steel fins down on them." Welcome back to Does Andy Remember Gen 5 Pokémon?
And if so, does he have any thoughts about them?
Stunfisk.
Dunfisk is it Stunfisk or Dunfisk?
Stunfisk.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was Stunfisk. I got really confused when I heard Dunfisk. Stunfisk is a fish?
Yeah, some sort of mudfish thing.
Why have I got so many fish?
Because Jane knew what they were well enough to avoid the fish. And you were just picking things with fun names.
Stunfisk is a pretty cool name, to be fair. It sounds like it should stun you. So that makes sense. Oh, it's not actually a water Pokemon. That's interesting, isn't it?
No, it's like a mudfish that you step on.
Yeah.
And it gets you.
Do you step on mudfish?
Not if I see them, but if I didn't, maybe I would.
How many fish have you stood on in your life?
Maybe none.
I don't think I've ever stood on a fish.
Certainly not on a live one.
And I certainly wouldn't be stunned by it because, I'm not an idiot.
What if it was a Galarian form of a fish and it looked like a Pokeball on the floor that you could pick up?
I mean, in real life, would I pick up a random Pokeball on the floor if I saw it?
Yes, you would, 100%. You would see a Pokeball from Pokemon TM on the floor and not pick it up.
Well, yeah, I don't know where it's been. I mean, what we're talking about? What kind of scenario are we talking about here? In real life, suddenly I see a real Pokeball on the floor.
Well, you don't know if it's a real Pokeball till you pick it up.
Actually contain a Pokemon. Well, it never is in Pokemon. All the Pokeballs on the floor aren't actually Pokeballs, are they? They're just items.
Well, yeah, true. Well, you
So
don't want
have
items?
A Pokemon in it. What, a potion? What are we going to do with that? I ain't got any Pokemon.
Yeah, but
useless.
We don't know potions don't work on people.
I mean, do I need a potion?
You never know. What if you trip
medicine?
and hurt yourself?
Just get over it, mate. It's only a graze.
Yeah, we're getting older though, mate.
Yeah, but like potions aren't going to fix a broken arm, are they?
I think they do, mate.
Nah, they're just light damage.
Have you seen what they do to each other and then boop, 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 sorted?
Yeah, but they're well hardy, aren't they? They're all made of muscle.
Oh, well, yeah, no. That's the difference between you and me, mate. Not all Pokemon are as hardy as Andy claims, but Stunfisk certainly is. Defensive, a lot of HP, and attack, either special for the Unovan form or physical for the Galarian, Stunfisk is a tough little defensive monster. The original Unovan form can supplement this with the ability Sand Veil, which, as with real Flounders and Stargazers, hides it in the sand, raising evasiveness in sandstorms. Galarian Stunfisk has the unusual Mimicry ability, letting it change typing to match terrain, sort of like a dry run for the terrestrial phenomenon which would appear in the next generation. The name, Stunfisk, of course comes from this being a disc-shaped fish that can stun you. The Japanese name, Magyo, combines Mado for mud and Gyo, a reading of the word for fish. It is a mudfish, after all. Andy might claim he wouldn't take the opportunity to pick up a Pokeball in the street, but I know that any listener of this podcast would do, really. I hope you don't get zapped by a Voltorb, spored by a Fungus, or crunched by a Stunfisk. Original music for Luke Loves Pokemon is by Jonathan Cromie. Artwork is by Katie Groves. Funding is provided by listeners at patreon.com/podcastiopodcastius. For just $1 a month, supporters can listen to episodes a week early, and also help cover hosting and fees, making it possible for me to keep making episodes every week. I love hearing from listeners. Get in touch about upcoming Pokemon on Twitter or Facebook at LukeLovesPKMN. Drop a comment if you're watching the video, or a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Coming up are Mienfoo and Drudigan, so please get in touch about those or any other monsters. Even if you don't feel like doing any of that, thank you so much just for listening. I love Stunfisk, and remember, I love you too.